So I've been thinking about FLUX and how to make FLUX because I like FLUX. And Trove is much better when you have lots of FLUX. I dream about FLUX so much, it's like I'm wearing FLUX glasses. Everything I see is FLUX. That looks like FLUX. That looks like FLUX. That looks like FLUX. 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 Looks like FLUX. FLUX. Looks like FLUX. FLUX. That's a Corvette. Looks like FLUX. All right, so I know some of you guys are really good at making this FLUX. My character is obviously pretty low level here, and I don't have any good ways to make a bunch of FLUX. I can't get to the higher Uber levels and get some loot that's, you can go and sell in the trade chat. Which, by the way, if you don't know how to join the trade chat, you're just going to do something like this, /join trade, and it'll put you in the trade chat. And then you can say /3 space and trade, and you could, talk about want to buy or want to sell. So anyhow, I don't have that, nice ways to make FLUX. And in the beginning of the game, it's really hard to make FLUX. It's super difficult because you don't get good loot. I mean, it's not like you kill some of the MMOs, that I used to play. You would kill characters and there'd be gold on them, right? And that's how you get some gold, which in this game, is equivalent to FLUX. But you don't kill characters, you don't get FLUX. You don't really get a whole lot. So it's difficult to get a lot of FLUX, and to advance quickly in the game, I think you need more FLUX because you need to be buying stuff from people on the trade. And, some of the things I'm talking about are like the stellar items. So my characters wouldn't be anywhere near what they are without these stellar face, gun, and hat. And the only way I got these is because I bought them. And I bought them for, and it's not really that cheap, Some of these guys are selling for $50,000, $60,000 a piece, depending on what you get. And that's a lot of money. So if you want to make the 60,000 FLUX really quickly with a low-level character, good luck. So what I do to make FLUX is I work items in the marketplace. And so this is very similar to real life. If you buy things that are low and you sell them high, you make a profit, right? So the way it works, though, is when you search for an item in the marketplace, you're going to, say you want some mushrooms, right? And you type in mushroom chunk. And I hit search. What do I get? I get mushroom chunks for $48, and I can buy them in blocks of 10. Well, so just like in a real economy, you buy low quantities, you're going to be high price. But if you buy them in large stacks, they're going to be low price. So you have to front the money to buy a bunch of them, and then you break them up and you sell them in smaller pieces. So what you would do then is in the marketplace on the buy tab, what you want to do is first you can check what people are selling things for. So you can see that, you've got most of these are 10 items, and you've got 10 selling for $48. You got 10 selling for $69. So you might want to, this is going to be your competition likely, is this $48 for each item. And that's what you're going to be selling your mushroom chunks for. If you sold them for $69, it might take overnight before somebody clears all these out and then buys yours, right, for $70. And then obviously they dropped again here because the quantity changed. So the quantity is at 20, and now they're selling for 35. And as you cycle through this, you can just kind of get a feeling of what people are selling these for. And so when you don't sort by unit price, what it's doing is it's sorting by this price, the actual cost of the item. So that's, at $48 a piece, they're selling 10 of them, makes it $480. So you got to kind of get a feeling of what you think you can sell them for. And then what you need to do is you need to go sort by unit price, search for that. And you can see you can buy them in massive stacks for $7 a piece. So what you would do then is you would buy this 3,000 stack for $7 each. And it's going to cost you $23,000, right? But if you don't have $23,000, that might be a little difficult. It's easier if you actually have some money to front, but you can find small stacks like this one. He's selling $255 for the same price. So for $1,700, you can buy 255 of these. And then you can turn around and you can list them for, 10 in stacks of 10 for $45 a piece. So what is the difference there? So you're going to be buying 255 at 7, and then you're going to turn around and sell them in stacks of 10. So that means you're going to have 25 stacks of 10 roughly, and you're going to sell them for 45, which is a decent profit. So if you're buying them for 7 a piece and you sell them for 45, you're making 38 FLUX per item, which in each stack of 10 that you're selling, you're making 380 FLUX profit for each one of those. And so what I did is, as I have opened all my cells, and yes, I had to pay for those. I didn't, take my time and get them. You have to use credits. And so credits cost real money. But I figured this was a good thing to spend those credits on. It wasn't super expensive. I think I spent $5 real to do it. And what that opens is all these slots that I can then take and sell items to make flux instead of buying things like costumes and stuff like that to sell, which you can do that as well. But this is now that I have these slots open, I can reuse them over and over again and just continue to make more flux as time goes on. So my experience has always been it's a daily thing. I don't sell these items immediately because I kind of price them a certain way. So it's not like I can list 18 different slots. They all get sold in an hour. It's more or less every day. So what I do is I list and stack them. I list 18 of whatever it is that I'm selling, and by the next morning, maybe 50% of them are sold, and then by the next night, generally all of them are gone. And so on average, I can make, let's see, the items I sell, which I don't want to tell you because I don't want anybody else flooding exactly what I sell. I'll have to go find something else otherwise. And so I think each stack I make about 2,000 profit. And so if I have 18 of them, I'm pulling 36,000 profit on a daily basis in flux. And so, that's really good. You can see I do have a decent amount of flux. I have 200,000. It's not a tremendous amount, but I also spend a lot. I go out and I buy things from the trade. I'll be buying weapons for my characters. I need a couple different faces and weapons, like I need a gun, I need a staff, I need a sword or spear or whatever, and each one of those is 50, 60,000 bucks. And then I also go through and to get my mastery rank up, I go sometimes and I buy allies or I buy mounts because I want to increase my mastery rank for whatever reason. It's just kind of fun to do. So that's where I spend my flux. I have cycled through quite a bit of flux, actually. And I have also bought like greater dragon caches when you could trade them back in the day, and they were 75,000 flux, I think, each. And I bought a bunch of those to get some dragon coins. And so, I cycled through my flux. On average, I probably have 200,000 around, and I made most of that flux from this idea of buying low and selling really high. And the key here is, again, is using that sort by unit price. So you want to sort by the price, see what you can buy them for, uncheck it, see what you can sell them for. And that's basically it. That's how I make my flux in this game. It actually works pretty well. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Thanks to Crazy Nate for the cool idea of flipping through the cards. Be sure to check out his channel. Link in the description.